What is good? What is up with y'all? Back, another video. And Monday Night Raw was not bad at all. We had a few dull moments. We had a few funny and hilarious moments. But let's get into this. Logan Paul comes out, starts the show off, and he cuts a promo pretty much saying it's a fact that he won a world title 12 years sooner than Jay did. He said it's a fact that he's going to beat Jay whatsoever. But then Gunther comes out. And Gunther is pretty much cutting a promo with Logan Paul saying, hey, congratulations. But whoever comes out of this match this Saturday is going to sit there and have to face me one-on-one next month after Money in the Bank. Now, realistically, I like this promo from Logan Paul and Gunther. I think Logan Paul just being himself on the mic is really, really good for his character. And also Gunther, I mean, come on now. Gunther is just magnifico. I can't say that word. But Gunther is such a normal guy on the mic. Him and Logan Paul are really good when they are on the mic, and they don't have to be together. They can be cutting singles promos or, hyping up their rivalry. They're really good, and it was a nice way to start off the show. Then Logan Paul gets super kicked by none other than Jay Uso, the World Heavyweight Champion, signifying that, hey, this Saturday it's business. Then we had Roxanne Perez officially on Raw. I think that this came way too late. She's been on Raw recently. I know she had the little stint with Bayley on NXT, but she's been on Raw for quite some time now. And it seems like WWE is going in this direction where if you're in NXT and you have a couple of matches on Raw, you're going to be on Raw for a while. But like I said with the Julia signing on SmackDown, it was kind of odd for Julia to be on SmackDown because she's been on Raw, but I get it. You want to split up your young talents. I think Julia's like in her 30s, so that's why quotations on young talent. But I think this came way too late. But Roxanne Perez is officially on Raw, and I cannot wait to see what she does. Then you had Paul Heyman and Jay have a promo. And this was a backstage promo. Heyman's telling Jay, hey, Braun's not going after your title. That's not what this is here tonight in the main event. His main goal is to break you. I think that this is great from the Paul Heyman side of things, pretty much saying, just like he did with Roman, this is psychologically, psychological warfare, might I add. Because Paul Heyman is pretty much saying, hey, Braun's not going after your title. So you're probably like, well, why is Braun fighting me? Because they want to beat you up, take you out. And then next thing you know, here we go. Here comes Seth pulling another heist of the century or another, big-time World Heavyweight Championship win. And they're pretty much always telling Jay that the weight of the World Heavyweight Championship is too much. And I think it was good for Paul Heyman. I think it was last week or the week before on Monday Night Raw. He told Jay that you are a target. All eyes are now on you. When you're just going after the belt, nobody's looking at you. They're still looking at the World Heavyweight Champion. But once you win that belt, it is wraps. And now you have the biggest target on your back because that title holds power. And Jay's done a decent job. I do like the fact that Jay is in multiple storylines. And it really kind of helps show that Jay's the world champion because he has a lot of targets on his back. It shows that, hey, I'm a fighting champion no matter what. That's what I do like about this Jay Uso World Heavyweight Championship run. He's in a rivalry with Logan Paul. He has Seth and Braun and Paul Heyman coming after him. And then you got Gunther on the other side if you were to come out from Saturday Night Main Event, looking towards his World Heavyweight Championship match after Money in the Bank. I do like that, though. I really do. Then we had AJ Styles and Penta versus Finn and JD. This was a good match, but I can't lie. I definitely knew that El Grande Americano, who's, targeting Penta recently, was going to come out and cost AJ Styles and Penta the match. Now, as a Finn Balor fan, though, I'm glad Finn Balor was able to pick up a dub. Now, this was nothing monumental, but every time Finn Balor gets a win, everyone thinks, including me, that he's going to get pushed in the right direction. That he's going to be World Heavyweight Champion sometime here soon. I would like to tell you guys, I don't know if Finn Balor is going to be World Heavyweight Champion anytime soon, especially being stuck in the Judgment Day. I don't think anybody in the Judgment Day right now is World Champion material outside of Dominic. So, I'm going to hold my horses on this Finn Balor win tonight. Well, last night, I should say. Then we had Seth and Logan Paul cut a promo backstage. Now, the Seth and Logan Paul promo, like I said, really good. Seth didn't say nothing too monumental to Logan. Logan just pretty much was trying to get out of there. Seth caught him and, trying to get in his ear about, Jay and winning the belt and things like that. Nothing too monumental. Then we had a match that honestly surprised me. We had Roxanne Perez, Natalya, and Becky Lynch for a Money in the Bank qualifying match. And let me just say, I like Roxanne Perez. Becky Lynch, I like her. She's not like one of my favorites, but I like her. Natalya was cooking in this match. She had a beautiful sit-down powerbomb. The double sharpshooter was nice. Becky breaking the hold and then her still holding the sharpshooter on Roxanne Perez. Roxanne Perez tries to flip and get out of it. Natalya still holds it, flips her all the way around, and still has the sharpshooter locked in. Natalya was cooking this match. She was absolutely monumental in this match. And I know Natalya does not get the love that she's supposed to get. I think Natalya is more on the back end of her career, and she's more of a filler for the young talent, and she likes to put over young talent. I think that's more of her role here now, instead of going for championships and things like that and making a name for herself. She already has the name. She has accolades. She's one of the longest tenured women in WWE history. She's wrestled the most match out of any women in WWE history. And guess what? She can still cook. That's what that showed me. There are some people where one-on-one matches just isn't their thing. But you put them in triple threat matches and they cook. That's how I feel about Obafemi. Obafemi, he can cook by himself, one-on-one with a Trick Williams or a Javon or whoever it may be, a Wes Lee, Dragon Lee. But you put them in triple threat matches, they go from here to here without a doubt. But Roxanne Perez ends up winning this due to Lyra Valkyria attacking Becky Lynch, which I knew that rivalry was not going to be over. And Roxanne Perez was able to hit Pop Rocks on Natalya and get the win over Natalya. Then next week, we have Ivy Nile. Well, no, hold on. We have Adam Pearce sets up Tozawa and Rusev, which we know that's just going to be a squash match, to be honest with you guys. Chad Gable wants Ivy Nile and himself in Money in the Bank qualifying matches. Was not confirmed, but they talked to Adam Pearce about it. Then next week we have New Day versus War Raiders versus American Made for the tag team titles. can I be honest with you guys? As much as I like the War Raiders and their movesets, I don't want them to be world champions. They seem a little too bland, and they rarely get over with the crowd besides the war chants when Ivar's about to do a move. New Day is past their prime, okay? And I'm not saying you have to be in your prime to win championships. But after that heel turn they had, they literally snubbed their momentum, and now the momentum is gone again. I want American Made to win. The Creed brothers are so good in the ring. They're very versatile. They're strong. They can do it all. That Brutus ball that they put to Ivar last week, or the week before, I should say, I'm impressed. Especially with Julius Creed. Julius Creed can definitely be a world champion material outside of American Made and outside of Creed brothers. And also, Brutus Creed, I feel like he could be a great mid-card contender. I do. I think if they were to separate, Julius could be world champion material. Brutus could definitely dominate the mid-card scene. They are that good. So I'm rooting for American Made. Okay, I don't want the New Day to retain. I don't want the War Raiders. I want American Made. And if they do stuff like this and give multiple tag teams the opportunity to at least compete for the titles, I'm down with that. Put the SmackDown method on Raw. Just let them have at it. You know, have multiple number one contender matches, have multiple ladder matches, table matches, add a new tag team, do things like that. And I feel like everything would be fine on Raw's tag team division. Then we had a match that was supposed to happen a couple weeks ago, but it didn't. We had Grayson Waller versus Sheamus. Now, I do believe that this is starting to brew between Grayson Waller and Austin Theory about them turning on each other. I know we've all had speculations about that. Hopefully, it happens sooner than later. Because we know how WWE is when it comes to turning on people and things like that. They build it up for so long that it doesn't get the pop that it should. Like Otis and Chad Gable. When Chad Gable was disrespecting Tozawa and Otis and Maxine, they did this for like a month and a half. They turned on Chad Gable, and then they revisited Otis versus Gable months later. Don't do that here. Don't do that. Austin Theory and Karrion Kross are two people right now that people are praying and hoping for. They just break out. They just need to break out. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Karrion Kross, every time I hop on the internet, Karrion Kross's name is mentioned, and it's give Karrion a push. Give Karrion a mid-card title. Put Karrion in the World Heavyweight Championship scene. Have Karrion Kross win Money in the Bank. Things like that. Strap the rocket to these guys. And I promise you, you won't miss. Because the fans want them. The fans love them. Give them that. But Grayson Waller ends up losing to Sheamus convincingly. Then we had a Gunther versus Seth promo backstage. Again, with these backstage promos with everybody in this world title picture. And that's what I like about this whole Jay being world champion, like I said before. You have Seth, you have Gunther, you have Logan. You're in 3 different feuds right now. And knowingly Sami Zayn wants to become world champion, he's not going to do it like this. But Sami Zayn eventually wants to become world champion. I'm sure Punk wants to be world champion. But for right now, Punk and Sami are both on Jay's side. I do like this, but Gunther and Seth had a promo. Like I said, nothing too crazy, just like the Logan Paul promo, just pretty much being in his ear about the World Championship picture. And then a match that I'm kind of disappointed with the outcome. Rhea, Zoe Stark, and Kairi Sane It was mostly Rhea and Kairi because hopefully Zoe gets better. She had a terrible knee injury. Terrible knee injury. And then it was Kairi Sane versus Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley picks up the win. Can I just be honest? Rhea Ripley did not deserve to be in Money in the Bank. They have way too many people that have not won world titles, male and female, that need to be in this match. Alexa Bliss, I get it because she had a hiatus and now they want to put her back up there in world title pictures or possibly in big matches. That's why she was at the Royal Rumble. That's why she was at the Elimination Chamber. And they're pretty much trying to put her back into big matches. I understand that. Roxanne Perez never won a world title on the main roster, but she is still, coming about on the roster. Kairi Sane never won a world title besides the tag team titles. So, my question is, why is Rhea in this match? Rhea does not need to be in the Money in the Bank match. And also, I'm getting tired of WWE killing debuts. Like, why did Rhea have to win? Rhea doesn't need Money in the Bank to get herself to the world title picture. She doesn't need it. So why would you put her in there? Why wouldn't you put a Kairi Sane in there? An insane elbow off the ladder sounds pretty fucking good to me, if you ask me. But, yeah, I was not happy about that. Then we had Jay and Braun Breaker as the main event. Jay and Braun had a pretty decent match. This was the first time they met without a world title being involved. Well, match ends in a DQ. We have Sammy and Punk come out to help. And the show just ends with them brawling. Now, I will say I did like the idea of Paul Heyman getting involved and grabbing Jay's leg before he dove onto Braun, because Paul Heyman rarely got involved when it was the Bloodline. But I like to see Paul Heyman get involved because he's not just being the voice anymore. He's actually matriculating and actually helping whoever his advocates are. So I did like that about the match. And Jay and Braun didn't disappoint. It wasn't like a 5-star classic banger, but it was a pretty decent match. And Jay, Braun versus Punk, Sammy, and Jay, it's just brewing. I just hope they add a third member to this group, because originally the plans were it was just going to be Seth and Braun and Heyman. But they're listening to us, and apparently there is supposed to be a third person to this group. So hopefully they come soon. And that is the end of this. Let me hear your thoughts, questions, or concerns about Monday Night Raw. And I will see y'all in the next one. Like, comment, subscribe. Almost to 500. And I'm out, y'all.